like I say, I'm not really very good with the tech stuff, so you lead the way.
Well, we are recording it now, so what you say now is going on Facebook, and I'll also send you a copy of it as well, Kate, so that you can put it onto your social media.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, so I noticed that you're into psychology and neuroscience. So did you study both of those?
I studied neuroscience, was in with my psychology degree. I've got a psychology degree with honours, so it kind of all sort of blended in together, and for me the two are so kind of interlinked that it just kind of made sense to be using the two in terms of mediumship, so that people can really understand what their brains are doing. Because when you understand what your body is doing and what you want it to do, it makes the doing so much easier. It's unbelievable. But we've kind of come from the sort of older school teaching doesn't really bring in the diagram of the brain and where the pineal gland is actually located and this kind of thing, and it just makes the process of development much quicker, because there is an understanding of where you are now in terms of your ability and actually where you want to go. And also with meditation, and a lot of people kind of go, they're like, I don't know if I'm meditating. Am I doing it? Oh, damn, I'm thinking. You know, and you have this whole thing going around in your head, right? So if you understand where your brain patterns are, where you're going to bring them to, you realise then that this is the feeling of meditating, because nobody can give you the feeling of meditating. You've just got to trust that you're doing it. And that's what kind of ties people up in knots a little bit when they're starting to learn. And obviously, meditation is the gateway for mediumship. So yeah, the counselling psychology degree that I did has really helped me in terms of my mediumship and how I teach mediumship.
Okay. Yeah. And what's the difference between the psychic medium to the medium and the clairvoyant?
Right. Well, a psychic, when you work psychically, you're gathering information from the air around you or from objects, and psychic work is never future predicted. Now, there's a big misconception about what psychic, because people think that psychic and medium are the same thing, and they're not. It's just that they say every medium is a psychic, but not every psychic is a medium. But every psychic has the potential ability to be a medium, right? So you've got when you work psychically, you're gathering information. That information is going up the spinal column into the pineal gland. It's being processed by the mind and then delivered to the sitter. When you work as a medium, you are receiving information. You are connecting with a stream of consciousness, so that there is that two-way, so there is that intelligence there, and there is that two-way conversation. So that's the difference between the psychic and the medium. But mediums, everybody is psychic, and actually everybody is a medium. So when you put the two together, the psychic medium, it's because they could be working one of two ways. Now, the clairvoyant, the clairvoyant skill is under the umbrella of like the psychic skills, because so rather than being sort of on a level with the three, they're in tiers. Now, the clairvoyants have their third eye is wide open, and they use it in a very particular way. There's two ways to be clairvoyant. The first way, and this is the term that you're using, I think. The first way is to be able to see reams of film, possibly in colour, possibly black and white, in your spiritual vision, which is between your eyebrows. But also, another form of clairvoyance is when spirits actually work through your imagination. So when you, my way of being clairvoyant is where when I see a spirit person, when I'm linked to spirit and I see a spirit person, I don't see them in the front of my head the way that you would think a normal clairvoyant is working, because there's two ways to work. I see it as you would in your imagination. So it's like some people think that they're not visual, and they go, I can't meditate because I'm not visual. But actually everybody is visual, because if I say to you, picture a pineapple, right? You can picture a pineapple, no problem, but you're not seeing it in here. You're sensing it somewhere here, aren't you? Yeah. So that's a form of clairvoyance, because when I sense the spirit people that I'm speaking to, that's where I see them. But other people that are actually working as a clairvoyant will generally be seeing very clear pictures and scenes between the eyebrows, which is where a lot of people think that the pineal gland is located, and it's not. When you want to open up your clairvoyance, the best way to do it, and this is in my super psychic course, the best way to do it is to understand where the pineal gland is located in the brain, because it isn't between the eyebrows. It is at the back of the head. It's at the top of the brain stem, at the back of the head. Now, what happens is you draw information, you draw energy up the spinal column. The energy comes up to the pineal gland, which then crushes the crystals in the pineal gland. This information is then processed, and you see this. It's the imagery that you see between your eyebrows. So those that are predominantly clairvoyant, that have always had this skill, won't necessarily need to know that information for development. But those of us that are looking to really open this up more, and see more and feel more connected in that way, if you use this tip and you understand that that's where your pineal gland is actually located, then that will help you to see the imagery, because it's actually the pituitary gland that is behind the eye. The pituitary gland secretes stress hormone. So and when you're opening up your abilities, the last thing you need is cortisol or adrenaline running, or stress hormone running around your energy system, because that's going to stop you from getting the result that you want. So that's why it's best not to put the attention right in the forehead, because a lot of people are kind of straining into the forehead trying to see something, and that's why they're stumbling backwards. So if you use this as a tip, you'll find that you open your third eye with much less stress, and it'll be a much more pleasurable experience.
Okay. And is it a gift you have, or can it be taught?
This is actually, I'm so glad that you were going to ask me this, because this is my message to the world. Everybody, every single person on the planet can do this. It is, yes, it's a gift, because do you know what? It's fun, it's amazing, it enhances your life, it helps you to de-stress, it gives you every single answer you could ever want. But you know, everyone can do it. And there's a lot of old school kind of hierarchy around this, that is saying that everyone's psychic, but not everyone's a medium. And it's not true. It is not true. Everybody can do this. It can be taught. It is taught. And if you the super psychic package that I offer, I teach, we look at self-esteem, we look at the subconscious mind, the beliefs around this, and mediumistic exercises and psychic exercises, because they are different ways of working, and you combine it all together. And that is how somebody who has no experience can go from 0 to 60 in like 10 weeks. Because you have to look at the student as human. So you blend in science and spirituality, and you blend in human and spirit, and it has phenomenal results. But the thing is, if you explain to people exactly how they're going to be working, they pick it up so quickly and so easily because everybody can do it. And do you know what? These you have to excuse me if I go off a little bit because I'm so passionate about this. This is not, it's not just something for people who want to go and work as a medium. It's an absolutely necessary life skill for everybody that wants to live their absolute best life. So, and that doesn't mean riches and fame and cars. It just means serenity, calm, beauty, beautiful connected relationships, doing a job that you've chosen to do because it brings you power, pleasure, all that kind of stuff. So in answer to your question, yes, it can be taught. And you know what? It should be taught to everybody because developed mediumistic and psychic skills are like liquid gold for the soul, right? And they are your birthright because it is those are the keys to every other area of your life to be in the way that you want it to be. Because you have access to every single answer that you've ever wanted to know. You can talk to anybody that has walked the earth, right? And there may be some streams of consciousness that might say, no, thank you, I don't want to talk to you very much, but it's never happened to me. You can literally speak to anybody, every single answer that you've ever wanted to know. So, and if we taught everybody these skills, right, you don't even need to use them to go out and work as a medium, right? You just apply them to different areas of your life. And suddenly you're just in this incredible blissful bubble. There's no self-doubt. The self-esteem is so high that the humility just overflows. So yes, it can be taught and it should be taught.
Okay. And how do you answer people that are skeptical with it? Because I would imagine there's a lot of people that are skeptical.
Well, you would think so, wouldn't you? But people are skeptical when they don't understand what it is that you're doing, right? And what I found that I was guided to the elements that I've put into Super Psychic by my team, and it just exploded my everything. It exploded my mediumistic skills, my psychic skills, the whole thing. My life just up leveled unbelievably. Now, before I was guided to this, I was working. I wasn't putting the science in with it. I wasn't blending anything else with it. I was just working as a psychic medium. And oh yeah, there's loads of skeptics, and you know, it's actually quite soul destroying, and especially when you've got people that are kind of trying to test you, and you think, like, you know, you kind of go along with it, but it's not really why you're here, because it's got a very kind of low vibe to it. But when you explain to people who are pretty skeptical, you say to them, this is how I'm doing it. This is what I'm doing. This is what my brain's doing. This is what my energy system's doing. And you say to them, this is how it all fits together. This is the energy. We're collecting energy when we're working psychically. From there's vibration all around us. Within the vibration is frequency, and within the frequency is the information that we are accessing. Right? You explain all this to people that are kind of like, oh, well, I don't know about that. And suddenly you get their interest because you've got a science element to it. Because a lot of people that are kind of going, oh, I don't believe in that, are very logical people. So you put the science behind it, and suddenly you've got their interest. And then you go one step further and you say, this is not for special people. You can do this. You. And as soon as people realize that this is completely accessible to them, you don't have somebody that doesn't believe anymore. It's as simple as that.
And how long have you been a trainer for, and do you train in all areas, the neuroscience, the psychology, and the psychic mediumship to the people that come to you?
Absolutely. I've been training now for 6 years. The psychology and neuroscience have come in over the last 3 years. I train everybody in exactly the way that I work, because I sat in development circles for years, and I felt like I was kind of a mediocre medium. I was always told that I was really good, but there was elements that were missing for me. I never quite felt, like, oh wow, I'm so good at this. I never felt that at peace with myself, that I was good enough. And my guides guided me, like I said, to these different areas that I've slotted into becoming super psychic. And it's almost like I was a guinea pig for super psychic for my spirit team, because they're bringing through a new wave of mediumship, which is bringing people into the 5th dimension. Because the 5th dimension is a state, it's not a place. It's a state of complete well-being. And understanding that there is no time and space, that and we can just be. So I was a bit of a guinea pig for super psychic, if you like. And once I put all of these elements together, sort of unwittingly, because I was guided to these different bits, it just all started coming together. So from that end, as far as I'm concerned, I am in the best place that I have ever been with my mediumship. And with my teaching, with who I am, with my life, I'm in the best place I've ever been. And I'm still progressing. I will always be a project in motion, if you like, because we never stop learning, do we? But from my point of view, I'm like, if it's done this for me, this is what I want to give to everybody else. I'm not going to miss out any bits, and then they can go on and teach other people, so that we can get this wave going through of people that are not struggling with self-esteem, not struggling with self-confidence. They feel completely committed, supported, and just really like feeling like they're really enjoying their life without these lower vibrations of self-doubt and that kind of thing, whether it be around mediumship or whether it just be in different areas of their lives. So there's full complete kind of self-acceptance. When I teach the psychology part and the neuroscience part, it is broken down, so it's not daunting, and it's not scary. All it's doing is just giving you an idea. Sorry, it's not giving you an idea. It's telling you absolutely what's going on, inside your physical form, so that you've got a deeper understanding of your anatomy and what it is that you're doing, and how you're going to get there. It's not reams and reams of learning. The example that I gave you about the pineal gland, it's just broken down into little nuggets like that. It's like another one is if you're meditating, people say they struggle to meditate because they fall asleep. So I ask them, well, how are you doing it? Like, are you lying down? Are you sitting up? What are you doing? And people have a tendency to fall asleep because they're putting themselves in the same position that they do when they go to sleep. Your brain will always do what it thinks you want it to do. So when you put yourself in a position where you would normally go to sleep, the synaptic connections in your brain start firing and wiring together, going, oh, she wants to go to sleep now. This is what she does when we go to sleep, so let's go to sleep. Which is why you'll go from your high state of beta down to alpha. You'll kind of relax, but then suddenly you've gone straight down into theta, and you're asleep, because your brain is doing what it thinks you want it to do. So, and it's these bits of information that make the difference, that stop you feeling like, oh God, I'm no good at that. Because you know what, everyone is amazing at this stuff. They just need to know how to access it.
Yeah.
So yes, I teach all of it so that everybody can get the most out of this that they possibly can.
That's good. And has the lockdown affected your business or brought you more business?
Business has gone absolutely bonkers crazy. It's been amazing. And do you know what? It's almost like the world has gone. It's like Mother Earth has gone. Everyone needs to be forced to meditate because it's made us go into a slower pace. We're more mindful about what we're doing. We're more mindful about, I mean, even the social distancing. We're now more mindful about other people, aren't we? Just because we've had to become that, we've had to slow down and think about how to look after ourselves. And even though it could look like a sort of more of a negative thing, so it's like, oh, we're protecting ourselves from this virus. Do you know, actually, if you look at it another way, it's actually an act of self-care. So we're being shown how we're being given almost a forced meditation, if you like. Yeah, and we're also and we've also been given time to meditate. Right, we've been given the time to slow down, reflect. People want to learn to meditate. They want to learn to link to spirit because they've realized that everybody was rushing around thinking that they were fully in control of their lives, and now they've realized that perhaps they weren't. And being locked into psychic ability and mediumship, this is you being in control of your life every single day and feeling so in control that it gives you that beautiful, calm freedom. So yes, it's actually, my business has boomed actually since the lockdown because people are ready to step into this much slower sphere.
Okay. And if people want to connect with you who are not in the broadcast, how can they get in touch with you?
I'm on Facebook under Kate Winters Psychic Medium, or my private profile is just Kate Winters. I have a YouTube channel that I've only just started. I'm on Insta, and the website is kate-winters.com.
Okay. And do you use your spirit guides?
Absolutely, all the time, every single day. They are my best friends. They are my guardians. They are just they're amazing. And I talk to them every day. I forge the most amazing relationship with them. I have a spirit team, as does everybody else. And they are my best friends. Everybody's spirit teams are their absolute best friends. They will never let you down. They will always be there. And the way to get a real deep, rounded relationship with them, right, isn't to always sit in meditation and see if you can see them, because you're going to start to sense them. You just chuck out a name, and they won't even know they won't even mind if you call them something that they weren't known by. So you just a name, and you'll feel, you'll sense, you'll feel, you'll know that they're with you. And then when you're walking down the road and you see some amazing poppies, you can go, oh, look at those, they're incredible. And you'll have this feeling of just love and connectedness. And I talk to mine about the weather all the time. I like walking along the beach, having a little chat with my spirit guides, looking like a mad bad woman talking to nobody on the beach. So yes, I do. And do you know what? We've got a lot of people that are feeling so alone. Not even just at this time, but just in life, emotionally alone. They might not, do you know what I mean? Like emotionally alone or physically alone. Meet your spirit guides, because do you know, you will have such a great relationship with them, and you will feel so connected, and you will know that you are never ever alone.
Okay, so how do you use your spirit guides? Do they talk to you? Do you see them sort of in your imagination?
I see them. I see them through my imagination. I do also see them clairvoyantly, because I do work in that way sometimes. Yeah, generally that's when I'm in deep meditation and I'll see them. I hear them. This is another misconception. You think that being clairaudient, you always hear somebody else's voice in your ear. It's not true. It is your own voice in your own head. Right? And you have to be very careful as a medium when you start talking like this, because it makes you sound like you're absolutely crackers. However, you will know, you get to know which is your stream of consciousness and which is somebody else's stream of consciousness. And when you're learning to get kind of past this kind of self-doubt, because it can be difficult. When you're learning between your consciousness and somebody else's, is that you ask them for something that you could go away and check, and it'll be something that you could never possibly have known. And God bless Google. Who'd have thought Google would be amazing in spiritual development, eh? But it works. There's another little tip, so that you can open up your clairaudience, and you know that it's not something that come from you. And as you go further along, you get to know the difference between your stream of consciousness and another one that's coming in and blending with you. So yes, yeah.
Okay.
So, but also my guides, I also do some transfiguration work, which is where you sit in a cabinet and the energy collects around you, and you see the spirit person over your face, over the face of the medium. It's physical mediumship. I don't think there isn't too many mediums that are doing it at the moment, I don't think. If you have a look on my website, there's a picture of my dad over my face. My dad passed 5 years ago, and Oliver Hardy. We've transfigured him as well. But also, whenever I'm working in that way, my guides will always show themselves first. So you'll see my guides. So I use them in that way too. But when I want to know the answer to anything, everything, I want confirmation with anything, I go and I ask my guides. So they're my best friends, my confidants, my strength, and everybody else's guides will be that for them too.
Okay. And how do you get your spirit guide?
So if you're looking to connect with your guides, meditation is great for connecting with your guides. But for some of you that don't see visually or think you don't see visually, what you can do is you can settle the body, settle the mind. So you put your intention out that most of us are running around in our lives in a high state of beta. That's a stressed state, brainwave. When we go into meditation and we slow the brain pattern down, we go down into an alpha state, which is a waking alert state. So when we put the intention out that's the thought pattern that we want to be in, and just connect in with the breath. Meditate however you want to, and then ask that your guide comes in by your side, and ask them to come in on a certain side, or in front of you or behind you. Okay, this is if you don't see visually, so you're not seeing them in here. And take your attention to the air pressure on the one side of you and then on the other, and you will feel a very, very slight difference. Now, you can then keep your attention there and ask them to step away, and you will feel it change again. You ask them to step back in, and then it will change again. And you'll just get, it's very subtle, but you're getting used to how this feels energetically. But don't think, because you're not seeing them in the front of your head, that you're not doing very well as a medium, because seeing in the front of your head is one skill only. And do you know what? For those that work predominantly with their clairvoyance, they are either absolutely phenomenal, amazing psychic artists, which is why they've got such an amazing skill here, right? Or people will end up just becoming very reliant on this. So if you are not seeing clearly with your third eye, don't think that you are not good at this, because what it means is that you're going to start working on a law of vibration, which means that you're going to feel so deeply. And mediums that feel have such a rounded connectedness, because they can get information from everywhere while being completely energetically connected to their sitter. And when you've got somebody in front of you and you work in this way, so you've got information coming in from everywhere because you can feel it, right? You've got someone sat in front of you and they know that they are so connected to you and that you are so connected to spirit. And that gives them such a feeling of deep joy, of reverence, of just calm, of support. And that is an invaluable feeling. And if you're relying on pictures in the front of your head, you don't feel the emotion. You don't collect the information from different places generally. Okay, you know, the other information that's in the air generally. Okay, so if you don't see really clearly with your third eye, don't think that you're not any good at it, because, you know, actually it means that you are going to be absolutely amazing at it, because you feel it. Yeah.
Okay. And do your spirit guides actually physically talk to you, or
they talk.
Sense them?
They talk to me clairaudiently. Yeah, they talk to me clairaudiently. Yeah, they guide me to different areas. Sometimes it's an inner knowing, and I know that the information has come from them. I just know. I know. But yes, so they talk to me clairaudiently, and they talk to me like with a sort of inner knowing. It's like my energy system knows their energy system so well now that we just kind of glide along together, really, which is lovely.
Okay. And how do you know that they are your spirit guides and not something else?
Well, when you first start to develop, you connect in with your guides. You can go to a medium who will connect you to your guides and let you know. But the thing is, right, when you're guided, you have a deep sense of peace and knowing, right? Once you get past the conscious part of your mind, right, you go with how you feel, you know. It's only the conscious part of your mind, the unconscious part of your mind, that may come in and start going, oh, this could be a bit scary, because we've had Hollywood, like people with their heads spinning around, and this is dark, and if it's dark, then it must be scary, and all this kind of stuff. But if you can quiet your subconscious mind and all these beliefs that you've got going on, because you think back to when we were kids, all this stuff was all scary. It wasn't like all this nice kind of fluffy spirit, you know, spirit's really lovely. It was ghosts, and ghosts were scary. So everybody's got that backstory going on in their subconscious mind. So once you've stilled that, and you link with your spirit guide, when you feel the feeling, you will feel either acceptance or resistance, right? And if you feel a resistance, then that's not your spirit guide. And you can just say, thank you very much, but no thank you very much. Because it's the same as talking to people on the earth plane. You don't want to speak to somebody. You say, oh, thank you, but I'm moving on. Thank you very much for your time, but I'm moving on. No, thank you. You're in complete control. You're in absolute complete control. So if you have you will have a feeling that is just like, I like this. Ask yourself, do I like this feeling? That's the simplest, kind of almost crudest kind of way, but that's a starting block. Because what that will do as well is that will get you trusting your feelings, really listening, digging in, and really listening to how you feel. Because we're listening to our mind too much rather than understanding the feelings right? We need to get past the mind. And if something feels good, go with it. If it doesn't, don't. And you are in control at all times, completely empowered.
Oh, very interesting.
Mm.
I know John's put a question or a couple of questions in the chat box. What about clairsentience? Sentient.
Clairsentience. So, sorry, I just put the chat up.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
yes.
Yeah, clairsentience. Yeah, clairsentience is when you feel physically, the kind of aches and pains of the spirit person that you're connecting with. So, if you're connecting with somebody's granny and she had a dodgy knee, you might get, pain in the left knee, or if you're asking how they've passed, you might feel, your right arm go a bit funny, and you know that there was a stroke that happened before the passing, and that's the clairsentience. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I didn't know whether it was when you're, when sometimes you're doing readings and you got somebody opposite that you do connect with, and you feel some of the energies from them, whether that's also clairsentience or not.
That's
more intuitive?
That's a psychic ability. That's a psychic ability. Yeah. That's you linking your energy in with their energy system. And it's really important that people know how they're collecting their energy, because when what you're talking about is it could almost be like a bit of an aura reading, because you've connected in with their energy, and you are, because it's psychic, you're collecting information, not receiving. Okay.
Yes,
now, when you are working psychically, you don't predict the past from the future from like people's auras, because the auras are made up of the energy of every single thought that they've ever had, because your thoughts are energy and it stays within your energy system, right? So if somebody wanted a baby, right, if you were getting your information psychically and you've linked to them, what you might do is link in with that thought of the past that they've had, or their hopes or their dreams, and then think, I can feel a baby here, and then you might pass on the misinformation rather than the prediction of the baby coming from spirit. Do you see what I mean? Because you will always have within the if you're working psychically like that, it is always the present time or the past you are looking at, never the future.
No, I don't do futures, no.
Yeah.
More intuitive,
Yeah, you feel deeply, don't you?
Yes. And with the angel cards, obviously, because they're a positive mantra, it gives people hope and positive nature rather than a negative side of things as well.
Yeah, the thing is, totally. The angel cards are lovely, but the tarot is actually really positive as well.
Oh, I know. Yeah, they can be. Yeah, it's just.
If it's used in the right way, it's an enhancing life tool.
Because
if you've got a card that comes out, the job of a medium really is if you've got a card that comes out that isn't so positive, right? You're not telling somebody something so that they can to frighten them, right? You go, right, okay, how are you going to deal with this? Okay, so spirit have got it, and we're going to go X, Y, Z. You've got a plan for this. This is going to be nowhere near as bad as you think it's going to be. So that your sitter doesn't go into their life and have the rug pulled from under them, and they haven't got any idea. Because also, we manifest our futures. So if somebody come to you and you've got this card that isn't so positive, that's been taken out, they can start to be manifesting a much more positive outcome, right? As well as feeling so secure and empowered, because they know that something may be coming, but they know that they are fully equipped to deal with this, and they know which positives they're going to take from it. So they're almost looking forward to it, because they're like, do you know what, actually, like, I'm going to grow, this is going to be amazing because I'm going to get X, Y, Z from this, rather than it being like, oh gosh, you know, this is going to happen, because it is our job to empower people, to make people really understand how amazing, powerful, and magical, and in control of their whole lives and mediumship they actually are, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was just trying to...
Are there any other questions?
Mandy, have you got a
Yeah.
question at all?
Yes, I have actually, Kate.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question. I'd like to ask you, what age did you start thinking about all this? Did it happen this way, which you're going now, what you do? When did you start? Did you have these feelings when you were a teenager, or did you have these feelings when you were younger, as a child, or how did you feel? Yeah.
Well, I was about to say I'm a psychic child. I was a psychic child, but do you know what? All children are psychic. Everybody's psychic. Everyone's a medium. But I was aware that I just knew stuff. I just
Okay.
knew. I didn't see people, didn't see anything, but I was aware that I just knew things. And I always had a real deep interest in, you know, in like kind of ghosty, ghouly, kind of all that kind of thing. And then 2011, my granddad died, and he was the most phenomenal man. And it absolutely devastated me. And that was the point where I found out that being a medium, that you could be a medium. I'd never even heard of mediumship. I'd never heard of being a medium. I just heard of ghosts and stuff. So, and that was the point where I realised that other people that didn't necessarily use their psychic ability the way that I did, because see, then I thought everybody had it, which they do, but people use different skills from childhood, depending on which situation they've been put in childhood, as to, because we've all got all of the skills. It's just that we've honed it. People go, oh, they're naturally this or they're naturally that. It's just because like when we're children, we'll use one of the skills. It will have worked really well to get what we want from our parents or what we want from our surroundings, and then we'll have kept using that skill. So that's why some skills seem stronger than others. So then I started learning mediumship, and that was when I went through the whole process. I sat in circle for years. I hit every single block. There was times when I thought, yeah, I'm good at this. Other times I thought, oh no, you know, it felt like wading through treacle. I felt like I just hit every single block that you could possibly imagine. And then I sat because all I was doing was the normal meditation, which I felt that I was absolutely rubbish at because I don't visualize very well, and doing, you know, like linking in and do a psychic exercise or something. A mediumistic exercise. But 3 years ago, my whole life fell apart. I mean, literally, totally fell apart, and I had to rebuild myself. And that was when my guides brought in these different elements, and suddenly the whole thing just took off completely. And I feel so proud and so humbled to have been part of this process that my spirit team have put together, that they now want to be giving to the world, so that everyone can enhance their lives and feel really empowered. And the thing is, some people are going to want to go to mediums, right? And that's absolutely fine. That's no problem. But it's just so that everybody knows that given they have the choice, you can learn to do this and you won't ever need to see another medium ever again. Or you have the choice to carry on. It depends where they are in their lives as to what they want to do. As long as people have the choice, then that's okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really.
Sorry, I was going to say, actually, like the this transformation that I went through, I've kind of, I had such low self-esteem before, and I feel so grateful to be, so happy, so grateful to be where I am now. And this is why I'm kind of like passing every single part of it on, because I don't want to hold anything back because of how it's enhanced my life. So in terms of the transformation, I do normal single session readings, which are like, it's brilliant. It's just great fun. My guides are great fun. You just get loads of information, like loads of guidance. But you can also buy a bundle of 3, and this is where, like, transformation. If you want to do the reading rather than learning to be super psychic, the bundle of 3. You can lift low moods. My guides are brilliant to help you lift low moods, so you understand your why you're feeling the way you feel and what's going around your subconscious mind, to really get you past that. They'll do there's business advice, your career, your personal relationships. They're amazing with that stuff, because you get they'll tell you why certain people are the way that they are, obviously without breaking any confidentialities, but why they're how they're going to behave in certain situations, so that you can kind of really manage your relationships so that they flow beautifully and you get the best from all of them. So there's if people didn't want to do the super psychic, they can do these transformational readings, and you see the transformation from reading 1 to 3. It's just amazing. But the super psychic course is really my majorly proud work, and I feel so grateful to be giving it to the world. I am actually looking for 4 people. 4 people that would want to come and work with me. You'll get every single piece of information that I know. You get support from me throughout the 12 weeks. You work one-to-one with me. You'll have the opportunity, if you want to, sort of structure your life in the way that I do, because I have so many people asking me, like, what do I do to work out? What do I do for nutrition? What do I put into my body? How am I, what supplements do I take? So I've lumped all of this into this package, so that we've got daily contact, if you want that, so you're doing the spiritual stuff that I'm doing to keep myself on point. So you go from beginning to end and becoming super psychic at the end of it. You'll have a mediumistic exercise every week to build on, and you run that alongside a psychic exercise. And this is really important, because this gets the energy. You're working with energy, doing some yoga, you get energy flowing around the body, so that you're working with energy in your psychic exercise, but you're also working with a mediumistic task. So you've got a really full, rounded training. You understand how to look after your mind properly, because in most spiritual training, there's no understanding of really looking after the mind. It's your mind that processes the information that you're going to give to your sitter. And most training doesn't even have a look at it. It's the most important organ that you've got. Yeah, because it's going to be processing everything, so you can then give it to your sitter. So you learn how to look after your mind, and you it'd be almost kind of living my kind of lifestyle for 12 weeks, gaining all the information, learning all the skills, and I'm so proud of it. It is going to be my high-end offer, but I am going to be looking for 4 people to do it at a discounted price to be starting in a couple of weeks. But it'll only be 4 people, because I'm going to be doing that for feedback, so that I can tweak what needs tweaking, or know that this is running as smoothly as I need it to. Because I've run Super Psychic. There's been 4 rounds, had amazing results, but this one-to-one training is putting everything else into it as well, about lifestyle, how you're looking after yourself, and it's one-to-one rather than a group. So if anybody's interested, if they could just send me a message on Messenger. And you don't even need to worry about what you're going to say, right? Just send me a message like, yeah, love to, and I'll be in contact with you. And I'll ask them about themselves, see where they're at, see how we can help them, how we get the absolute best out of it for them. Because I need to make sure that people are a really good fit, so that we can just have an absolute blast for 10 weeks and get the most out of it.
Sounds interesting.
It does, actually. I've been looking at your website at the same time, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah, just have a look around it with the different types of courses and things you do, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, the website, to be honest, does need a little bit of updating. It's been in the last sort of 3 weeks that I've been guided towards some kind of higher end offers, which are there's going to be some that come off the website soon.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come on our broadcast.
You're very, very welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you for having
me.